But once again, here we are doing our GBC book club recording on the book Keys to Unlocking Your Inner Power. And this is the final episode of our review of the book by Kelly Larsen. And today we're going to cover chapter 16, 17, and 18, the purification process, taking care of yourself, and cultivating peace. And so we have finally made it to the last three chapters, you guys. And I must say it has been a wonderful experience for me to go through this book. I have found absolutely tremendous insights and just personal joy of discovery going through this book. And I truly encourage anybody who wants to understand how to become enlightened. This book for me, as I expressed on Amazon in my book review of Kelly's book, is a roadmap to enlightenment. Many people say they want to be enlightened. They want to know how the enlightened process unfolds. And to do that, you really do need a map. And though the map is not the territory, though the book has power in and of itself, but the principles that she reveals in this book, the knowledge that she shares in this book, will truly set you on your way toward enlightenment. It's a beautiful journey. And today we cover some final details about the process of the elevation of your soul. But before we go into that, I just want to get each one of the book club readers, Freddie, want to welcome him, Florence, his wife, want to welcome her, and of course Shelley, who records these faithfully for us, want to welcome her as well. And you all have been through the process from chapter 1 down to chapter 18 of this book. Are you able to share, can you share with our listening audience some of the insights and just overall your feelings about keys to unlocking your inner power? Whichever you want to start off first, please do so.
I truly enjoyed the book. It was like a nice review for me. And because before I've said, I've started meditating and reciting my mantras, but I've really gotten more into reciting my mantras since we've been reviewing this book. And there's a mantra I've been reciting now 2 days, 2 times a day.
2 times a day.
And reciting these mantras has really fulfilled my family with the things that I've been asking for.
Really?
Yes. So I find myself, even after I've done it, I find myself, if I have a 10 to 15 minute drive, I'm saying a mantra in my head.
Can I ask you a question about your own experience with mantra? Have you noticed any shifts in your response to situations, your overall emotional response to life? Has it affected your mantras and your meditations affected you in that way?
Yeah, I have. And my honey and I, we talked about some of these things last night. And I don't mind sharing the mantra that I've been asking for an abundance in our finances. So I've been asking for more finances, and daily money's just been coming in. And I've been
I saw
telling
some money
Shelley,
coming to you yesterday.
a lot of money too. I was telling Shelley, I used to say, I can't come over there, I don't have any gas money, but my bills are paid, I just don't have the extra. But now it's like, Shelley, I don't know what happened. I was digging in my purse and found about $100, and so every day money has been coming. And that's the reason why I'm doing it 2 times a day now, because I was doing it once a day.
You're getting greedy.
So now it's like getting greedy. Well,
No, I'm just joking. No, that's not greed. Trust me, that's not.
Okay.
That's not nowhere near greed.
But and I find myself, because of these teachings, I find myself not having patience for certain things, and that's
like
not good.
Things?
I can't have a conversation with some people because their ignorance. I just don't have patience for it. And I know ignorance means you just don't know, but their ignorance is I just don't have the patience, and so I have to really find my words, or I just don't say anything at all. And I know that's not fair to that person. I know that because of reading this book.
Yeah.
So that's something that I still need a lot of work on.
Okay. What about you, Mr. Wright?
Well, an overall assessment on the book for me would be to say, I mean, there's so many things you can say about it, but to kind of generalize it, for me, I have more awareness of myself through my spirituality, my physical, and my mental. I'm aware now of a lot of things that are happening around me and to me personally. Some things that I probably would have overlooked before. Excuse me. I'm aware that, my words have power to them. I'm aware that my thoughts have power to them. I'm aware now, in reading these last few chapters, she tied the physical body to the spiritual body. So I'm just more conscious of things now. And I have different daily practices and different daily rituals that I've made into rituals, and without even knowing it's just something that I've come to do all the time now. And if not for this book, I wouldn't be trying to work on those things. My eyes wouldn't be open to those things. People approach me with certain things, and I now know in previous chapters with the teacher-student relationship that I can gain something from each individual that I come across, be it for 30 minutes to 3 seconds. And that's something that I'm really, that's one of the main rituals that I practice every day. I look for the lesson in each and every person, especially if they come to me with something random. A random conversation, I'm like, okay. And it's not that I'm analyzing them, overanalyzing them, or judging them. I'm listening, and I'm looking for key things that if it's not revealing something about them to me, maybe they can reveal something about me to myself. So those are some of the things daily that I'm doing now that I wouldn't have been doing otherwise had it not been for Miss Larsen's book. So overall, bottom line, I'm just more aware now. I'm more conscious of things, more conscious of myself, and more conscious of, the energies, the powers that be.
Okay. What about you, Shelley?
I think that when you think about keys and the tools to do a job, most of the time when you think about tools, you think about something simple that helps you to make something the work that you're doing easier.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a key or a tool is not necessarily some complicated machine. You're not gonna go. I'll give you this example. I was at a agricultural conference, and one of the farmers was talking about all this machinery that they have that can do, it can plant sweet potatoes, and dig sweet potatoes up for them. People don't have to do that for themselves. Well, he said that his brother suggested to them that they buy a watermelon loading machine. You put the watermelon on, it takes the watermelon up a conveyor belt and puts it on a truck. And it costs thousands of dollars. And his brother told him, we can line up 10 men and pass their watermelon faster than this machine, that's going to cost us all of this money. And so just by using, that, them passing it from one person, right, manpower, something simple, it doesn't take all that, because somebody still has to put the watermelon on there, and you got to wait for it to roll up. You could be finished by the time you're done with it. And I said all that.
I hope they wouldn't do that though, but yet it's still.
It
would free those 10 men up to do something else with their time. But anyway, that's what they want to do. Is what I'm saying. I got your point though.
Well, anyway, my point in saying that was how sometimes we try to make things so much more complicated, or we think that it takes a lot of money to do the type of work that we want to do. But this book it shows you, like Freddie was saying, that you really don't need a lot. All you need is yourself and just simple things that you use in your daily life, just simple practices, simple tools that can help you move, you know,
From the lower mind to higher mind.
right. And you know, without, you know, it doesn't take necessarily all of these extras. People think that I have to have robes and I have to have these equipment, I have to have rooms and, you know, all of these things to be able to do a certain level of work, and it's not true. And I think that that's something that she points out, Kelly Larsen really points out very well in the book.
To kind of follow up on that, what do you think that people who are religious at the lower levels of development will gain from reading a book like this that actually will be added value to their growth that they're missing by not actually listening or reading material like this? You understand what I'm saying?
I think you said the lower levels of religion, people practicing at the lower levels, and to have material like this, I think for one it'll be a shock for them. I think for one, you know, because the basics or the majority of most religions at the lower levels don't teach you that you have inner power or that power comes from within. As within, so without. The majority of religions, well, I'll speak, you know, Christianity, because that's what I practiced once upon. But it don't teach you that you have power. It doesn't teach you that you are a God, that you have, there's an inner God, there are spiritual parents, there are all these other things at play. It only teaches you to worship and to, you know, to follow. You know, it doesn't teach you that you can dictate.
That's very good. That's very good, man.
So I think a material like this, it would be hard to swallow. It's like trying to swallow an apple whole for them. They have to really, you know, push hard to swallow and even digest the material in the book.
Yeah.
Not saying that they couldn't. I just think it would be a huge shock for them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else? What do you think would be the added value if they could really convince themselves to pick up a book like this? How would it bless them?
I think, you know, that. And I had the opportunity to tell Ms. Larsen myself that I think that her book kind of goes along with biblical teachings, because some of the sermons that you have done, you can look and find some of those lessons and things that she's talked about in those scriptures and the teachings. And I think that what people are missing is a way to understand and make a connection. You know, a lot of people, I think, are intimidated by the Bible. They're intimidated by the long list of names and words that they can't pronounce and concepts that they don't necessarily understand. But if you take those biblical teachings and you have a person who can connect them to, like I said, these simple tools that will take you to another spiritual level, then you put both of those tools together, you know. And I think that I think that those people are missing a way of simplifying their understanding.
Yeah, I think that a lot of times on that same point that words like soul and spirit and God are not fully fleshed out in the average religious mind. And one good thing I like about this book is that it actually gives you detail. You know, it tells you, you know, what the soul is and then how to develop the soul. People say stuff all the time. Well, I want to grow spiritually. Well, I want to, be happy, or I want more power. But how do you do that? What are the tools that you use to actually achieve that? What does it look like? You know, when you are achieving that, what are some of the things we're going to get into right now? What are some of the outcomes or some of the experiences you have as you begin to walk that spiritual path? It's not religion. It is a spiritual path. It's your spiritual path. What does that look like? And in the chapter that we're looking at now, the purification process, it begins to take us through what happens when the glyphotic forces or the negative forces begin to decrease or when they begin to decrease in your life, and how does it affect you? You know, when you're actually experiencing a psychological healing, a physiological release of emotional toxins. I think sometimes people don't realize that these emotions that we have that are oftentimes low emotion, low mind emotions, are actually toxic. And they can get trapped inside of your soul body, and that you need to flush them out, or as you grow, they begin to, come out. And I think one of the mistakes people make is that they assume that because I am enlightened, or because I am being enlightened, that means I won't have any more struggles anymore. I agree to that.
Common misconception. Yes, sir.
Say what?
So it's a common misconception that people will dive into the spiritual realm seeking enlightenment solely for that reason, feeling that once they reach that point, nothing, no more stress, no more worries, no more studying. They don't have to really study harder, and it's quite the opposite. As you become more enlightened, reading in the book, as you become more enlightened, you
see more things that need to be corrected.
Right.
That's the whole point.
And that means more work.
Yeah.
That means more, meditation, more cleansing bath, some of the things we're about to discuss.
Yeah. Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute. What were some of the positives or some of the insights that you gained from reading how she presented the purification process? Purification, it's a process.
Yeah.
What's some of the insights that some of you may have gotten from that chapter?
I think one of the, to me, one of the most important concepts that I think some people don't realize when they're going through this process of spiritual purification and healing is that the first thing that they're going to hit, and we've talked about before, is detoxing. And a physical detox, and also detoxing with relationships and everything, in every aspect. Like Flo was saying that she notices things that people do, and it kind of sets her back and things more sometimes now. And it's the same way as when you're going through a physical detox, like we talked about one time before, when you eat certain things and you stop eating that, and then as your body is getting rid of all of that negative energy that was in your body, then you can get sick sometimes. You can have headaches, you can feel down, and that is one of the things that I think, like Freddie was saying, when you start to understand the entire process of going through spiritual evolution, then you realize that everything is a part of the process. And I don't think some people realize when they're having like headaches or they get sick or something that is part of that evolutionary process and is moving them towards something.
I think this is what she calls a healing crisis. You go through a healing crisis. In other words, it looks like you are losing ground. Actually, you are at gaining ground, because those things were like trapped inside you. And so now when you begin to pray more, mantra more, meditate more, even change your diet, those old things, they begin to push forward in you, because they're going out of you. And so you may even have like a reoccurrence of a skin eruption. Definitely you can have some type of psychological, emotional eruption, which is one of the reasons why you really want to take the process really slow.
Right.
Because you don't want too much, you don't want too many of your emotional or even physical toxins to come out all at one time.
Right.
And it's good if you have someone who is helping to guide you in that process, because you don't, like we just got through talking about, you don't understand, you don't realize that this is all part of a process working towards your good, and you react to
what
the situation.
What would a person say when they thought they were growing up? Man, I was doing so good, then all of a sudden, what would they end up saying?
Now the devil after me.
Devil after me. I must be doing something wrong.
Right. What have I done to deserve this? All of those types of things. And when you have someone who is already gone through that process, who understands and can recognize what
Right.
it is that you're
Right.
going through, then they can help you move through that process.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Anybody else have anything else they want to make out of this chapter? Like the dark night of the soul.
Wow. Just coming to that
Nobody likes that, do they?
just coming to that level where you are enlightened. And I think of a person who reaches that point, that dark night. I think of a person like yourself, someone who's been studying for years and years and years, and you know, the leaders, and they come to a point where it's like somebody snatched the plug out for a moment, and then you kind of in a place of nowhereness, like you just kind of in limbo.
I like that word, nowhereness.
Just kind of floating, and you know, just floating. You neither here or there. You neither cold or hot. You neither full or empty. You know, you're just kind of stagnant, just right there in the middle. And it's like, what now? It's I look at it as a point that you come to where it's almost like a fork in the road. You know, and one side is a fork that's kind of a U-turn.
Yeah.
And the other side is the fork that, you know, you wake up and keep on going. So, you know me, I'm king of the analogy. So that's how, you know, but that's how I see it. That's how, you know, that's what the Dark Night process was for me once I read it in Miss Larsen's book. That's what it meant for me. And like I said, I think of people like yourself and, you know, people that like us that are on that path soon, hopefully soon we'll come to that dark night spot where, you know, I mean, to get to that spot means you're higher, you know, you have a higher enlightenment than the average person, right?
Yeah, well, applaud you for looking forward to getting there. Because, I mean, it is a, you know, for you to be able to look before it happens and recognize, you know, that, okay, I know this situation will come as I grow. And it's something that I embrace as a part of my growth. But I think a lot of people, you know, experience a dark night of the soul because, as Kelly said in her book, you can go through different levels as you're moving up.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
You know, you can go through different levels of a dark night, and you don't have to be, you know, necessarily on a master level to get to this point. Yours on that level is just more serious, probably.
Okay.
But you still can go through a dark night that is trying to move you towards that next level.
Right.
And I think that the most critical part about it is that most of the time when you're in it, you don't remember, you don't realize, you don't say, oh, this is for my good. I know this is working out, and I know this is happening for a reason, and I know when I come through it, everything is, you don't. That's not what makes it a dark night. To me, what makes it a dark night is when, like you said, you have that nowhereness and you lose yourself. Even though you know, I know this is going to turn out better for me. You know it in your mind.
That's right.
That it doesn't register when you're in it. You lose everything.
See, that's the thing people don't understand. To get to where you're going spiritually, it's not a head trip. You know, there's intellectual learning that takes place and all that kind of stuff, but it's not a head trip. It's not like because you can go and just read a bunch of books and then all of a sudden you're enlightened. It's not like that. It actually is a transformation of your whole being. You know, it's a letting go. Like to put it to you, it's a sense whereby you're letting go, and sometimes that letting go is a very difficult thing because you feel like you've been let go, and then you have to let go. You have to let go of everything that you have depended upon that has brought you so far. You have to let go. And you have to let go and, they say, let God.
Yeah.
And it's like the closer you get to your destination, the giants show up. It's like Luke Skywalker having to meet his father, you know, Darth Vader, and you got to face him. And you're in this battle. It's like Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, on the cross, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? It's when you on that cross, and everybody that you have loved and everybody that you have helped, they have scattered from you, like the disciples. One betrays you, the others deny you, you know, and there you are, seemingly alone. I would just word seemingly, and that's why it's a dark night.
Yeah.
The curtain falls, and it's you, and you're in that space, and that is when you meet God in the darkness. Yeah, and it can be a very frightening thing. I mean, people go through it, to take it out of the esoteric sense, and people go through it when they go through a loss of a job, or a loss of a parent, or a loss of a loved one, or just simply kind of loss of purpose.
Yeah.
You know, why am I here? What am I doing? It's not, you know, it's like that. Yeah.
I know you taught before that the process is something that helps move you towards non-attachment, not being detached from things and people and saying I don't care about anything, I don't care.
That, yeah.
But it's you know, I've heard you speak on the fact that when you're living your life and you think that, okay, I've made it, everything's perfect, I got the perfect house, I got the perfect family, you know, I got the perfect job, I don't need to do anything else, I'm good, I'm going to heaven, I'm great. Then something has to show you, no, there is more. You need to move on, and if it's taking that house away from you to make you realize that you don't need that house is not what made you.
That's right.
Then, you know, that's the purpose that dark night is pushing you towards.
That's the Job experience that you read about in the Bible, the Job experience. And but the good news is that once you get on the other side of that dark night, you really have you come to another level. You hadn't necessarily say arrive, because there's other areas you got to go, but you come to a certain point, and you know, you like the butterfly, or like the worm has become the butterfly. You transcend, and so things are different. You are transformed. You change, and
you know, as we talk about the dark night, my life quickly flashed before my eyes, because I think about different stages of my life, certain things I've gone through.
Yeah.
And there was, you know, once upon a time I felt like I would have all these, to me, which were, I thought were horrible dreams. And I would tell my honey about it, kind of cry about it. I would tell you about it because I'm confused and lost. And I went through that stage of feeling alone, like I didn't have anybody. And he was always trying to assure me, well, I'm here for you, but I still felt alone. And you know, I was doing my practices, and I tried to talk to Shelley a little bit about it, but I still felt alone. And once I got over that little, well, it wasn't a little hill, it lasted, seemed like a year or two. You know, you feel like you in a hole, a deep hole, and you keep trying to get out. And finally, I found my way out. But you know, like you say, there's still stages and steps in your life that
you'll go through. What it is that it's the attachments that we have that we declare are necessary for our survival. And you are put in the wilderness, and you are stripped of certain things that you have depended upon, people, things, concept, ideas, and you discover something about yourself that you didn't know before. That you can live, that you can survive, that you can thrive, that you can make it. And this is when you develop that inordinary consciousness. You begin to fall into that inordinary consciousness. You begin to tap into a strength and a power that's beyond you. You know, but you have to walk and cross that burning sand to get there. Well, now this moves us into the whole idea of chapter 17, which is a lovely chapter, talking about taking care of yourself. And I really believe that I have to admit, in my life, being a person who is a caregiver, who's always teaching people, trying to rescue people, rescue damsel in distresses, and trying to encourage brothers to fight the good fight and all that kind of stuff. it's one thing I can truly say that I have neglected, and that is taking care of myself. And I know that that's something that a lot of people struggle with, you know, and that is taking care of themselves. And I really like this. And the first thing that really appealed to me, something that I think I talked to Shelley a lot about, and everything, and she can talk about it as well. That is first thing, intending, having that will to want to practice radical honesty.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Remember that part in the chapter?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Even though she didn't call it radical honesty, but I did,
Yeah.
because I think that one of the things that people don't do, that causes them to lose soul facets, or causes them to kind of not really get the full benefit of their spiritual growth, is that we try to be people pleasers.
Yes.
We laugh at stuff that is not
It's
funny.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we do things that we really don't want to do. We work ourselves, overwork ourselves, trying to take care of other people. It could be your children, it could be your church, it could be your husband, your wife. You know, as if they can't make it without you. As a result, we will diminish our spiritual power, our spiritual energy, shall I say, spiritual energy, physical energy.
Yeah.
And, you know, and we're not being honest.
Yeah.
You know, how are you doing? I'm all right. And you're not all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're lying. You're lying. Lying to whom?
Yourself.
Yourself. And trying to convince, and the thing about it, your body, there's a book I read, I can't think of the author's name, but it's a book, the book I read, it says the body never lies.
Yeah.
So while you're saying out of your mouth, I'm okay,
And then you stomp your toe.
your stomach is hurting, your head is hurting.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you got eruptions breaking out over your hands and your stomach and your feet and all that kind of your face and stuff like that. Because you're not all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know. Anybody y'all wanna pick up from there? And that's how we do ourselves, and we don't really show love to ourselves, thinking that, you know, if I sacrifice myself, suffer and everything, I'm doing everybody a favor.
I just think it's kind of cool that, excuse me, I think it's kind of cool that honesty falls under the category of taking care of yourself. You know,
Yeah.
to be honest with yourself, because like you said, all these other things may be going on, but the worst thing you can do is lie to yourself. You know, the fastest way you can stunt your growth is to lie to yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, if I don't, like you mentioned, if I don't want to do something, but I'm telling you that I will because it's gonna put a smile on your face. You know, now I'm putting you before me. You know, now I'm putting your smile before my smile. Now, you know, in the process of doing what I really didn't want to do, I have these energies going through me. I have this resentment going through
Absolutely.
me. I got this, ain't nobody trying to help me going. You know, I have all this negativity going through my body, and they're just slowly but surely knocking things off spiritually inside myself. You know, I am damaging my own peace by lying to you and giving you your peace.
Right.
You know, and to me, I mean, you know, I work on that. So another thing we said earlier, that's another thing I work on myself with daily is just being honest, radical honesty. You know, with myself.
Yeah.
Well,
and the thing about it is, you can
myself.
when you practice radical honesty, you really can lose a friend.
You sure can. Yes, and I have.
I'm not talking about being mean to them.
Right.
I'm just saying being honest with them.
Right. And the conversations don't come your way anymore. The asking of the advice doesn't come your way anymore. You know, I find myself alone in my own circle a lot of the times because of my honesty. Not necessarily, like you said, not going off on people, just being honest with them about themselves, or, you know,
about what
I stand for, what my moral compass is, you know. And like I said, a lot of times I find myself by myself, that person's too honest. You want to be lied to. I'm not going to do that for you.
Isn't that amazing?
That's most people. They want to hear what they want to hear.
Tell me a lie.
You ask me if you ask me, I don't even want you. If you ask me if you're overweight,
Yeah.
and you're 5'11", 350 pounds, or 5'5", 350 pounds. You ask me, are you overweight? You think
How do I look?
Well, I think you're a little overweight. I got a program on the weekends. Now you don't even talk to me no more. You know, now when you eat that honey bun, you don't look my way.
You don't look your way.
You don't bring your lunch in there to eat with me anymore because you don't want me looking at
you better
you know.
not stop.
I'm just saying. I'm just, you know.
You just saying.
That's a small example, rather. The bigger picture is honesty with self, though. Me being honest with myself. A lot of times, I have a voice inside me. I know I'm identifying more with that voice inside my head that's having me do small things. Like if I spit my gum out, I'm spitting it at the trash can. I missed it. Most people keep walking off, but that little voice tell me go pick it up. Now I pick it up. I consider that being honest with myself. Yeah. When I say I'm going to do something, and I know I'm not going to do it, or when I say I'm going to do something, I go and do it. I'm being honest with myself. When I say no, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get to that, man. I'm being honest with you.
You want to say something, Shelly?
I was gonna say that I think one of the reasons that Kelly maybe put honesty first in this chapter, and then going on to talk about how you exercise and eat and the amount of sleep you get and all that kind of stuff is because those are the things that we lie to ourselves about. Like Freddie was saying, when about a person, if you're not even overweight and basing it off of your physical appearance, but how do you feel when you walk across the room? Are you out of breath? Because a person can be 5'5" and 120 pounds and be out of shape.
Absolutely.
And that can be detrimental to their health. Are you being honest with yourself about the condition that you're in? And I think that is why she put honesty first. Are you being honest with yourself, Freddie, about the amount of sleep that you're getting and you need? Or are you saying, I really don't need that much sleep. I'll be okay with 2 hours. I really don't need, women.
I don't need to eat a healthy meal. I just eat a couple of honey buns.
Right. And then, I'm it's not like I'm overweight. I can get away with eating it. It's not gonna hurt me. I don't need to eat vegetables. I'm not on a diet, so why would I eat that kind of stuff? Or women all the time, mothers, we, put ourselves last and say, I'm not going to, like Kelly suggests, having body work done, like massages and, just relaxing time, the things we don't give ourselves. Women all the time say, well, the money that I could put into going and having a massage done, I could do something for my child, or I could do something for my house. But taking care of yourself is part of taking care of your child.
Let me stop at that point. Because I could hear some people, women in particular, listen to you say that, and they could identify with that. But they choose because they feel guilt. They choose not to do it, what you just said, because they feel guilt if they indulge themselves in some pleasure.
Right.
And I don't mean like eating a bucket of ice cream. I mean pleasure like, okay, I'm going to go to a spa.
Right.
And I'm using this money to go to a spa when, maybe my kid needs some Kool-Aid or needs something to drink or whatever. Or wants something to drink. That kind of thing. How would you address that? How would you as a woman, how would y'all address the guilt? Because I think women struggle with this probably a little bit more. Men tend to be just a little bit more selfish to a certain extent. A healthy selfishness. How would you address that to a woman who feels guilt that way?
Like I just said, that when you take care of yourself, then everything else can be taken care of. If you get to the point where you are run down, where you are not in your best health, mentally, physically, emotionally, especially.
But my children have a need.
Then those things are going to be just like you said. When you think everything is going okay, but you have all these blemishes, and you got headaches and stomach aches and ulcers and all this kind of stuff, but you saying everything's all right. I'm not nothing bothering me. I'm not mad. Everything's fine. It's going to come out eventually. Those are the mothers who snap and you know,
Exactly.
do something, you know, to their children, to themselves, who have problems in their relationships with their mate because
Or have a heart attack.
right, or have physical, they have, it comes out in a physical way because you are not taking care of yourself. And there is nothing selfish about it, because like Kelly was saying in the book, if you're not, yes, we are spiritual beings, but we are housed in a physical body. And until you get to that point of enlightenment where you no longer need that physical body, and you no longer need you know, the sustenance of food and all these types of things, then you need to take care of the vessel that is keeping you here and keeping you going so that you can continue to grow.
Right.
And, you know, for those women who are out there and you're like, you know, well, my child needs this, yes, take care of your children, but not, you know, at a cost to yourself. You know, not as putting yourself on a back burner, you know. I heard somebody say, one of our friends on Facebook said that, you know, she puts herself, because she is God, she puts herself before her spouse and her children, because she is God. And she has to honor that before she can honor and take care of them.
That just sounds so ungodly, doesn't it?
It sure does. I mean, to hear, it
To
does,
hear,
but
because people have been taught
to,
you know, put others first and everything, and yet the great commandment is to love the Lord thy God, which is you, with all thy heart, mind, and soul, and love thy neighbor as thyself.
Right.
So how can you actually love someone else if you hadn't first obeyed the commandment to love yourself?
Right.
And that's Noni that said that. Our friend Noni from Toronto.
in my house, my saying is, and my husband agree with me, if I'm not happy, nobody in my house is happy. And when it comes to Kool-Aid, it's not good for you anyway, so go get some water.
That's mean. Speaking of that, let's talk about that. You pretty good on the eating and the healthy thing, Florence. But you also talk about, you deal with a lot of things with essential oils, and taking a bath to I'm talking a spiritual bath.
Yes.
You want to share something about that?
Because I've become more healthier, conscious of my health. I started going to a naturopath, and I had some problems with my liver, having a lot of migraines, problems with my digestive system, and he started saying, well, get some Epsom salt, some sea salt, and get your lavender oil, your essential oil, and just soak in a tub for 20 minutes, and not the lavender and eucalyptus put together, but just a lavender bath, or just a eucalyptus bath, or a peppermint bath. Just certain baths, certain oils you can use.
When you had time to do this, because you're on the go. I mean,
that's part of taking care of me. If I'm not happy, then nobody, So, and people say
so
that
you want
a lot.
her to get that bath, in other words.
Absolutely. I'm instrumental in trying to make sure she has that time.
Yeah, when I first started, Shelly and I, we talk daily just about. And when I first started, she would call me, and I'm like, I'm in the bath. She said, girl, you always in the bathtub. Because I'm trying to do these certain
on the phone in the bathroom.
well, I have it on speaker,
Oh, okay.
But just trying to heal my liver, because honestly, I share, I had to receive chemo, and that chemo healed that one thing I was receiving it for, but it damaged my liver. So you can see my eyes starting to change, my energy, my skin broke out really bad, especially in my back. I had all this breakout in my face. So my doctor said, get a pound of Epsom salt and a pound of sea salt, and just soak in the tub for 20 minutes.
That's what you did.
And I did that.
Yeah, I saw that change.
Just about every day.
I remember when you was having those breakouts, and people they don't know you, but as you can see, Florence has that pretty brown skin and everything.
Well,
you do. But when you go through those changes, that chemo and stuff, you know, it affected you. And I know that bothered you too. So you can see the radiance coming off you right now.
And I started making it to sell to people because I'm like, you know, and you don't have to buy my stuff. Look, go to so-and-so and buy the Epsom salt, your sea salt, your Himalayan salt, your essential oils. You know, even like we're changing in our house. If the girls come in and say, I have a headache, okay, well, go give me that eucalyptus in there.
Right.
Instead of, Mama, you not the Tylenol? No, don't go and get nothing. Go get that peppermint or, you know, and like I was saying to Shelly a little earlier, my vision is blurry in my left eye, my nose is stopped up, and she's okay, get your lavender, get your eucalyptus, and you inhale, you know, just certain things.
Isn't it
you
a
can
beautiful
do.
thing to know that there are resources that nature has provided, the
Yes.
divine creative forces, the gods have provided, that can address these issues?
Every issue,
Yes.
every issue that
Anything you can think of,
is right here on Earth.
it's right there.
As much as we complain how bad the world is, at the same time, nature, Mother Nature, you know, the elementals and all the forces of nature are really very supportive and create an environment for us to be able to thrive.
Absolutely.
You know, I think that's an important thing for us to remember. One of the things that she put in her book that I think is important, beyond just exercise and cleansing bath, which I think is good. Let me say this, because that's one thing that I'm really trying to do myself, and that is have a holistic practice of being conscious of what I'm eating, conscious eating, to be aware and conscious of taking care of my body, making sure that the fluids in my body circulate, lymph, blood, water, everything flows in my body. That's a very important thing. You know, with that, my nutrition, eating, to be conscious of my thoughts, my shadow.
Yes.
You know, that's an important thing, to know what I'm to be able to deal with. And you can't do that to yourself all the time. Sometimes somebody's got to help you.
Yeah.
You know, to deal with your shadow, your dark side, and then to do your spiritual work. And that's what I see in this taking care of yourself. It's a holistic practice of doing this and doing it consistently. But there are two things she puts in here I think is very important: the importance of tithing, and the importance of cleansing not only your body but cleansing your home and your workspace. Okay. Which one of those y'all want to talk about then? How that is so important?
Oh, he's afraid to get some.
Well,
What?
I mean, y'all always have some. Just changing the energies where you reside and where you work, the places where you spend the most of your time, the places where our home is our sanctuary, and we make sure that the energies are positive. You know, we have people that come to our house. Every person who's ever come to our house, as a matter of fact, has always commented about how comfortable they are, how they can just ball up and fall asleep. And I think that's directly related to our practices at home.
Can you share any particular practice?
Well,
not all, but you know, any one that you.
Well,
can
two
share?
of them I'll share. The burning of sage. We've grown accustomed to the smell. We like the way it smells now, and you know, I think it was an acquired smell at first, but now, you know, to burn sage and to have it emitting the smell throughout the whole house, and you know, you say a prayer in each room and you change the energies in that room. And then another one, a simpler method. We don't wear shoes into our bedroom. We don't allow anyone to wear shoes into the bedroom because, you know, for various reasons, but one of them is we use the floor to meditate, you know, and it's just, like I said, it's one of our hallowed places. So
that's what I'm about to say. It's a hallowed place that is your bedroom. It's a sanctuary, so it is a sacred space.
It's a sacred space, absolutely. So those are a couple of practices that a couple of things that we do to ensure that the energy and the spirit and everything is good in our home, where we rest our head, where we sleep, where we eat our food, where we pray together and just or relax and rest. You know, so
that's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
We try not to be too ugly, but We only invite certain people to our house.
What about people who smoke cigarettes? Are they allowed to smoke cigarettes in your
No,
house?
absolutely
Shoot,
not.
no.
Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, the smell on them, like we want you to stay outside for a minute after you put it out,
Yeah.
so that the smell will leave you, because you come in, person, it emits from your pores.
Yeah.
A person who's an avid cigarette smoker, you really can't get rid of that smell. But no, smoking is not allowed in the house. Cursing is not allowed in the house.
And with the smoke, of course, because of our spiritual practices, but our oldest daughter has asthma, and we don't want you, causing her to have a reaction, because we're trying to teach her that you can do it, and you teach it, Shelly teach it when, you're talking to our daughters. You can do whatever you put your mind to.
Yeah.
So you don't need that inhaler. You can do this on your own.
Oh,
but
yeah.
we don't want certain things to trigger it either, you know.
Yeah.
Right. What about tithing?
I know personally, one of the older women that we go to church with is something that she was really passionate about. She was talking to us about in a women's meeting one time before, about the fact that, when she was young and she had a young family, that tithing was something, that she kind of did grudgingly, because, she had all these expenses and things that she had to do with her money, and then all these things, because Kelly also talks about you tithing with your time.
Yeah.
But she had to give her time to her family and take care of her family. But she said that when she got to a certain age, she realized, okay, I need to do this. I need to, if I can pay a cable bill, then I can give that money back to my church or to some other organization that is helping people, and I can give some of my time. If I can go and do this, then I can give some of my time to serve someone else. And she said that when she started doing that, and she started doing it consistently, she said her purse has never been empty. And she is, 60-something? I think.
I don't know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about. She's in her 70s?
Yeah.
No, she's not. Not that one. No, she's 60-something.
Early 60s.
Yeah, she's in her 60s.
Well,
and,
I like what Dr. Gibbons says about tithing in terms of it's a way of taking like chaos that comes with what the money you've made. You're talking about money. You're talking about time here, and removing that from your life.
Right.
Cutting up the top. I like the way he puts it. She does too. Kelly does it too.
Right. Yeah. And I think what, like the way Kelly says it, if you look at tithing, if you don't want to, because a lot of people have problems, I don't want to give to this organization or whatever, because how do I know they're doing what I want them to do with my money and things like that. Well, give to give to a person. If you,
whatever it is, release it.
Right.
Because you hadn't given it until. I mean, it's just like
if you give it and then you still saying, right, I shouldn't have given that to them. Or, if you don't think that a person will use the money in a way that you may want it to be used or something like that, then donate something else.
Right.
If you know of a place that that you want to help and they need repairs done, pay the person. You pay the person to do the repairs.
Right.
You buy the products that are needed at a women's shelter and give those products to that women's shelter.
So in other words, you tell us the thing about giving.
Right, yeah. It's tithing is giving. It's giving, and like you said, giving and letting it go. Giving with a happy spirit, with a cheerful spirit. And it works, I think, even on the level of when you're dealing with your family and your friends and all of that. If if you're gonna give somebody something, then just give it and let it go, and don't worry about well, they told me they were gonna come back at 10 o'clock and bring me my $5, and it's 10:01 and they, you know,
Yeah,
and they not back. And then when they do come back because they were 5 minutes late,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
helping you,
attitude.
then, you know, not only do you have an attitude, but now you feel like they owe you something
Yeah.
because, you know.
Yeah, and we've come to the close of our session here. The last chapter, Cultivating Peace, I really think it really brings us down to what this is all about. This unlocking your inner power, unlocking your inner power, unlocking your inner power, it leads to peace. The cultivation of peace. And I think that the telltale sign when you truly are growing and spiritually evolving is that you have more inner peace. And when I look around in our world and in our communities, just look at people, you can really see that a lot of people are not living with a lot of peace.
Yes.
They're not living with a lot of peace. And, you know, I can truly say that though you can go through hell with a gasoline jacket on, but when you know how to make contact with your spiritual parents, when you know how to work with higher intelligences that we call angels, when you do your meditation, your mantra work, when you take care of yourself, when you go through this process, and it's a gradual process of enlightenment, the end result that makes it all worth it is that even if you're going through hell with a gasoline jacket on, you have peace.
Yes.
There's a peace, as they say, that passes all understanding, that guards your heart and mind. There's a sense that somebody is with you. You know, the God of peace is with you. That you have a companion. You have this angelic guide, spirit guide, that is walking with you. And I think that that's when you know you're really blessed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for me.
Yeah.
So that's what peace means to me in that sense. You know, I don't think peace means just nothing going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's just an inner knowing that I'm all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's me.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. And my wife and I had a conversation last night. We had a long day yesterday, so for us to sit up and have a decent conversation was pushing it. But we had a conversation on that about just having inner peace, being able to walk through life and everything that life throws at you and still have a peaceful, positive resolve about everything at the end of the day. You don't go to bed thinking or worrying about anything that happened throughout your day. And even in the moment of chaos or walking through hell with that gasoline jacket on, and you still have this peace about yourself, and it's so strong and profound that it bleeds over into people. And they want to be close to you because you're so peaceful and this energy comes from you. They want to, when they're having a bad day, they don't come to you asking you advice. They come to you just to be next to you because your energy is so peaceful. They want to learn that. They want to get that. They want to be infected with that. And that's what we were talking about. And though it's hard, the way society is structured and the way the world and all these, you got to have this to be this, and if you don't have that, you're not this. And the way that everything is geared so you can't reach these levels. It's geared to against everything that this book stands for. Like you said, just the bottom line, because I don't want to keep going, but inner peace is the perfect last chapter, because that's the bottom line. That's where you want to be, because with higher enlightenment comes higher tests and bigger tests of faith and practices. But to have that inner peace, like you said, it's a knowingness. You just know. You just know that this is what it is, and I'm going to take it for that. You're going to be honest with yourself about how you feel about it, about what you want to do with it, and you're going to keep going toward that peaceful resolve. Yeah. And at the end of the day, you can lay your head down with no headaches, no body ailments, no anything, because,
But yeah, that's why I say, man, I really enjoyed reading this book. I'm always going to be reading it. Yeah, because it's such a great reference book.
It sure is.
That you'll be going back to it and everything. And I hope that those of you who have been with us from the beginning of this book in chapter 1 now to chapter 18. I hope that we have encouraged you to read Keys to Unlocking Your Inner Power. It's been a wonderful journey
Yes.
to go through this book. I really wish more people could have been with us, but you know what? I'm really glad that the 4 of you or the 3 of you joined me in reading this book. It's been a blessing to work with all 3 of you, and I sincerely hope that more people will pick up Keys to Unlocking Your Inner Power. And we're going to take a break from doing our conscious book, but the next book that we'll do, when it comes out,
This is news to us.
it is
Okay,
new.
yes.
The next book we're going to do is the book that is soon to be released by Dr. Mitchell Gibson on altars.
Yeah, that should be fun.
And he has another one that's coming out. I don't know which one's coming first. It's the book on healing herbs.
You'll love that.
Yeah, I love
And
that.
trust me, these are going to be major reads.
Yeah.
That so y'all start saving your money up. They're going to be about $49, $50.
Mine's coming. My money's coming.
Yeah, that's right. You already got the money.
It's coming.
So, but those are the books that I really want to do. Particularly the book on altars, because I really feel that is a major key, for lack of a better word, that can actually help you to connect to higher power.
Okay.
What do y'all think about that?
Sounds
I'm
good.
looking forward to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So, until then, thank you, Kelly, for writing such a great inspirational book.
Yes.
Namaste to you.
Namaste.
Namaste to all of you who have been listening to us. And we'll see you again for the next episode of not Conscious Movie, but GBC Book Club. And we'll be doing Dr. Mitchell Gibson book on altars.
Yes.
Have a great life.